Yeah, David Dread of Steel Pulse, and I'm saying hail to Lion Voice because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out here. Hear me now. Yeah, the lion's voice. Raw.
Well, front to us, a son was born and a child was given.
I want to ask you a question. Have you got your book? Haile Selassie I, Ethiopia, Volume 1, The Rise of the Priest Warrior King. I've read the book in its entirety, and I must say it's very inspirational, very informative, and very historical, right?
Them call him Ras Tafari. When he was born, rain fall from the sky. Them call him Ras Tafari. When he was grown in airplanes he fly. They call him Ras Tafari. Lion break the chain, beat not, don't cry. Them call him Ras Tafari. Read the Revelation chapter 5 verse 5. Then born near the city of Harar, the inspiration for Bob Marley's guitar. People crowd him like some big superstar. It no matter if England.
Okay. So talk to us about the journey from Trinidad. Where did you get formal education? Did you go
Yes,
to
I got
university?
formal education. I was trained at university. Although I believe the university is, that doesn't signify anything.
No.
It's a work. But I was trained in what you would call a first degree in industrial labor or industrial relations and international studies, and then later on grad school in Europe, in England, and where I studied accounting and at ACCA level, and also did economics and law and so on.
Okay, that's very important because you run a successful business for many decades, and on this channel I'm really stressing business, particularly for the Rastafari man, because we need economics to really have stable families. So we're going to get into your business acumen and the business background. Which university did you attend and where?
Well, I attended Labour College in Trinidad, which was linked with the university, and then I went to school at North London and London School. So
okay. And then following university, you're training in accounting, different advanced degrees. Where do you go? When do you take the trip to America? Or
when I came to America, I was coming to America since in the early 80s.
Okay.
But I started to really sojourn and stayed here when from around 80. I had a son was born here in 1988. 1988. So I came for his birth, right? But I used to come before he was born, and I used to come. My ex-wife then, who was from Chicago, and Sister Akina, I used to come and would interview C.L. James, who was then the President General of the UNIA.
You drop a big name there. I think we skipped some things. Let's jump back. You drop a bomb there, in terms of legendary names. When did the vision for publishing start? Talk to us about Rastafari. Give us after university. Give us the journey, because I want people to follow and see that our legends are not made overnight. There's a story, and we have one of the mighty lions from our Rastafari family. So he's now having the opportunity to tell his own story. So talk to us about after university. What was the journey?
Well, first and foremost, I was involved in Trinidad in the 70s as a student. I was involved in the revolutionary movement.
Okay.
I was involved in the National Organization of Revolutionary Students, which was part of the National Joint Action Committee, which was the organization that brought down Trinidad in 1970 in terms of the the revolutionary movement that went after the students at Sir George William in Canada in 1969-70, when they were banned, and they were treating them they had a lot of racial thing was going on there. And so there was a lot of things happening then. Um, you had Walter Rodney was banned around in 1969 after he left teaching at Mona campus as senior lecturer there. And he was involved in the terms of going down to the grassroots, mainly Rastafari people, and grounding with them, teaching them their history of Africa, and also learning from them. So when he left to go to Toronto for a conference in 1969, when he tried to return, he was banned, and that created a whole stir among students, both university and college students, high school students, etc. And after that, then so the whole question, especially in Trinidad, there were the whole industrial um, labor movement was up in raw because they had a lot of civil unrest in terms of what they call the Transport and Workers Union, the Oil Field Workers Trade Union, etc. They were having a lot of unrest, and the workers had to take the side of the students. The students was now saying that the whole ban on the students at Sir George Williams, students came out and protested, and the masses of people also protested that a lot of Caribbean students were involved. There wasn't just students from Trinidad; there were students from Jamaica, students from Antigua, Dominica,
Okay.
etc. And with that, all those demonstrations, then um, the government in the region decided to pay for them to come back to the Caribbean and to enter finish up their schooling at University of the West Indies. So some came back, some went to Mona, some went to Cave Hill, some went to St. Augustine, and so on. So that is basically, and then from that you had the on the road where the civil unrest took place because of all the you were just 1962, August 31st, 1962, about
Okay.
28 days after Jamaica became independent, that Trinidad and Tobago became independent on the day. I don't know how strong Eric Williams was in terms of overstanding Garvey, but the 31st of August is a day that Garvey pointed out should be black people all over the world should celebrate independence. But Trinidad was declared independence on that day, August 31st, and 1962. So it was about 7 years to 8 years thereafter that the National Joint Action Committee and other groups around Trinidad declared Black Power and the importance of Black Power in Trinidad, right? Being influenced by what is going on in Trinidad, going on in the Caribbean in terms of what happened at Sir George Williams, and also what was taking place in North America, civil rights movement. So all that, and one of our dear brothers was from Trinidad, Stokely Carmichael, now known.
I was just gonna ask if Stokely Carmichael. I was just gonna ask if Stokely Carmichael learned his Black Power in Trinidad and brought that to America.
Well, I don't know if he learned it there because he left at an early age. He left. He left somewhere around. He left somewhere around 1954, 55. To come to the U.S. So, but what he will have learned is that in Trinidad there's a large black population, and that pride within the community growing up in the area, Belmont, East Dry River area there.
Give thanks for the clarity.
Yes. So, but however, that was the influence growing up there, reading Malcolm X, who also have a Caribbean connection. His mother was also from Grenada, and so on. So you had all that was a lot of Caribbean influence. So these are the people who we were listening to, being a student, at the time, being part of the National Organization of Revolutionary Students. I saw the importance of Black Power as a key factor in the Pan-African movement. And then I think it was 1972, you had the Pan-African Conference taking place in Tanzania. And a lot of people who went there, some, couldn't leave, but some was able to smuggle out. I remember Rodney, who was back in Guyana, teaching at the University of Guyana, and he couldn't leave, but he found himself in Tanzania because the comrades were able to smuggle him out to Tanzania for the conference.
Okay.
So, and so on, because I think he had a charge going on at the time in Guyana under Fort Burnham. So these are the things where, the backdrop to what influenced me. I was involved in the trade union movement, the United Labour Front in Trinidad, who brought the country down to a standstill in 1975.
Okay.
I also, after that,
were you Rastafari at this time?
Well, I started to gravitate to Rastafari consciously around 1974.
1974.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I started to gravitate to Rastafari consciously.
So you were already active in the Black Power movement in Trinidad.
Yes,
What made you make that transition from Black Power to Rastafari? We heard about your mother telling you about the emperor. You went to see the emperor as a child.
Yes.
But now, as a young man, did you have a big afro at the time? Were you wearing the afro?
Well, I had an afro, but I don't know if it was a big afro. My father made my first afro pick or afro comb, right out of he had just come back from St. Croix, and he made me my first wooden afro pick or afro comb with what we use spikes or from the bicycles.
Yes.
So and so on. But what the transition to Black Power was not from Black Power. It wasn't really a transition because within Rastafari is the same thing. It's Black Power. Rastafari is just an extension of within the Pan-African movement and Pan-African family, and so on. But it was being a student on college at university that I started to mingle with other students who came from Dominica, who came from Jamaica. One of my brethren, Natty, who was studying, I can't remember what engineering, if he was civil engineering or electrical engineering he was studying, but we all were hang and so on. And then, will tell me more about the High Majesty. We're growing locks and things like that. He already had locks, Natty, but he was telling me about the High Majesty and, about the importance of seeing the High Majesty as the ultimate, So that was the kind of my brethren, now deceased, Romain, who I called Umar at the time. We named him Umar.
So they are Ras in college.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have that in common because that's when I put on my covenant as well, as a university student.
So we started to grow locks and so on, and
yeah. I shall lift up I eyes unto the hills from whence cometh I help. I help coming from the true living eyes, Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, who created Zion and earth. He shall not suffer I foot to be moved. I hold, he that keepeth Ethiopia shall neither slumber nor sleep. Well, youths in the streets right now, riots in your town now, Babylon them burning down. One bad police right now, riots in your town now, Babylon them burning down. No justice, no peace right now, riots in your town now, Babylon them burning down. The fire now cease right now, riots in your town now, Babylon them burning down. The youths them rise against brutality, man a kill another man for your salary. Them train them at the shooting gallery, black and loot, you might lose all your family. Them defend white supremacy, so them see the African as them enemy. It's been like this for centuries, them sick mentally. That's why we have you out in the streets right now. Riots in your town now, Babylon them burning down. One bad police right now, riots in your town now, Babylon them burning down. No justice, no peace right now, riots in your town now, Babylon them burning down. The fire now cease right now, riots in your town now, Babylon them burning down. Them said them tired of the looting, I and I tired of them shooting. Ku Klux Klan they recruiting. Then them dress up in a blue suit and they're brutalizing our youths them. No court, they just execute them. Till the people start learn the truth and the black youths go strap on them Gideon boot and them out in the streets right now. Riots in your town now, Babylon them burning down. Bun bad police right now. Riots in your town now, Babylon them burning down. No justice, no peace right now. Riots in your town now, Babylon them burning down. The fire now cease right now. Riots in your town now, Babylon them burning down. The Most High denounce their philosophy. Talk to United Nations properly. He said we will fight if necessary, and be confident in the victory. They try to erase our history. They wanted to change our destiny, cause we are the children of the Almighty, destined to lead the whole world to harmony. Them out in the streets right now. Riots in your town now, Babylon them burning down. Bun bad police right now. Riots in your town now, Babylon them burning down. No justice, no peace right now. Riots in your town now, Babylon them burning down. The fire now cease right now. Riots in your town now, Babylon them burning down.